Greetings, greetings. Baror, 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 nabab, natar, mukda, naut mugdad, baded, patar, naut, muklas, baded, yanun. Yes, greetings everyone. Just happy to be here once again. Whilst we wait for everyone to join, share the room, share the room. I'm gonna play my theme song whilst we wait for everyone to join. Start sharing the link. Let everyone know we're live, all right? This is OSM Vision with Wu-Sabat, live and direct. Ask us anything. Share the link, share the link. Let everyone get online. We're here live and direct. For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. He's the man of the hour. If you want to tune into this song, it's on YouTube, Love and Unity, Freedom for the Master Teacher. Just search that, all right? How about you? How you all doing? I hope you're sharing the link. We've got a few more minutes before we get started. Just playing the theme song, Freedom for the Master Teacher. Master teacher, freedom for the master. Master teacher, freedom for the master. The master teacher, freedom for the master. Yeah. Freedom for the master, the master teacher.
Everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They try to destroy the papers. They try to slander, defamation, character. They try to divide brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down, make sure they do everything they could. Not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult.
Hey, Rahubat, Rahubat, greetings. Rahubat Moisar. That means greetings, family. Family worldwide, because we are worldwide indeed. So if you're just joining us, you're in tune to OSM Vision, and this is a live Ask Us Anything. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, but in the meantime, whilst we're waiting, if you have any other people you know that you want to, have them join us, just send them the link. All right, so let me just tune in. I had my phone, I had to charge it. It was kind of dying.
Finance a car between 2007 and 2021.
Turn that down. All right, cool. Here we go. Let's see. Wow, we've already got a lot of people on the chat. Right, so housekeeping. We've been trying to make sure that everyone's got all the links to connect with us. So we sent out a newsletter to everyone that has subscribed to our channels, and some people didn't realize, and it was going to their spam or to their junk box. So if you search DS4S newsletter, and you should have the newsletter. The newsletter has all the links, but we're going to post them out anyway. So we're now making it so you have Wu-Sabat 24/7, pretty much 365, 24 hours a day, because we now have our Telegram group. The link will be posted by one of the mods. The Telegram group means that you can ask us questions anytime. So you could be walking down the street or get up after you just had a dream or any thought that's come to your head and you're like, I wonder if I can get an answer for this question. So you just go on the Telegram and you ask your question. All right, so Telegram is constant. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of questions, and we have different people that will help to answer the questions because we're getting so many questions. So that's the Telegram group. We also obviously have the Saturday classes that we do as well from Nashat, and again, those on Zoom and on Clubhouse, as well as live physically for those that are in the local area. So again, we make sure that you have access to us twice a week and every day via the chat. You can also send us 3 questions by video. You can upload your 3 questions, filming yourself. Just go to OSM Vision. The links will be in the chat anyway, and just use WeTransfer, osmvision.wetransfer.com, and you can just upload those 3 questions and we'll answer them. I'm sure you've seen the 3 questions that other people have been asking there. So yeah, of course, we want you to support us because we want to keep doing this. We want to do this every day if we can, full time, just constantly sharing knowledge so that we can all arise together. And so, if you can help us with anything, donations, sharing our links, subscribing, it only takes 2 seconds to subscribe. Hit the subscribe, then you push the notification bell, and you just make sure that you get the alerts. Everything that we do, you will be the first to know. And of course, if you subscribe, you then get all the content first before everyone else. All right. And anything else that I've forgotten? Oh yeah, there's on our UnitedSabians.com website, there are now bulletins as well. So go on the UnitedSabiansWorldwide.com and you should get a pop-up and it will give you a link to go to the bulletins. The bulletins are going to give you up-to-date information regarding the master teacher. We're so excited because we get to hear from him regularly, at least once a month, for those who go to visit him and the people that he contacts daily. So yeah, it's always great to hear from him, to know that he's okay. He's never okay because obviously the incarceration, he just wants to come out and we all want him out. So, but we know that, he's doing his best. All right, let's have a look at what's going on in the chat. Okay, yeah, some of my mods are just repeating about hitting the like button, etc. Cool. Oh, channel 22, channel 222, thank you. We're loving you endlessly. We've got a big job to do, like Wu-Sabat to the world. I keep saying it, Wu-Sabat is the future. You know, you either get on board or you don't. But either way, this train is moving and it ain't stopping. Rise and shine, Emperor, channel 2. Yeah, well done. Ghost 2, 2023. I refuse to bow down and pray to the evil God of the Bible. I can't wait to start class. Absolutely, man. We want to get classes all over the world, or different teachers, different people, just like different stores, so the books are available to everyone. The gods of the Bible and religion, not just the monotheistic religions, but religions in general, right? They're like nursery, you know, they're dealing with nursery, kindergarten information. You have to graduate from that. And again, this is not about, you know, we're very inclusive, everyone's welcome, but, you know, we just need to let people know that those old kind of religions, they're really dying out. All right, Patricia Banks, Rahul Bat, Wu-Sabat family, Rahul Bat. Okay, Tylonda Smith. Hi everyone, 2 questions. Right, 1. Remember, yeah, we're getting live calls as well. There's a live number so that you can ring up. You know, this is real. We don't fake it. We just come here. I just got my phone. It's live. It's real. The phone's gonna ring for the people that want to ask questions. So, you know, the number should be in the chat. It's if you're outside the UK, that's +44 753 996 3882. Okay, yeah, so we're going to get straight into the questions. Tylonda Smith, much love for your donation. All right, so your question. Do you have a question? Okay, I'm going to find your question, but I'm going to take this live call quickly first, and then we're going to get into it. Okay. Oh, okay. Whilst I get the call, Ghost 2023. How do you feel about the senior aerospace officer confirming the life of beings in the stars? And I quote his exact words, non-human intelligence exists and is not new. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let me take this live call. All right. I'm not going to keep saying, say your name, where you're from, and just get into it. Say your name, ask your question.
Yeah, Dre London.
Rahul Jamal.
Stone structures like Göbekli Tepe, how did they get the stone structures? Like, how did they get the physical stones that weigh maybe 80, 100 tons in place, and why did they do them?
Okay, excellent question. Have you heard of Coral Castle? Because that's dealing with Edmund, I can't remember his surname, but I'm sure there are brothers in the chat that will pull him up. But Coral Castle is one of those things that was built like that, just like the pyramids that, you know, in Giza in Egypt, where people are still baffled. How did they carry these big stones, and how did they move them, and what were they for? So that relates to your question. Excuse me. That relates to your question, right? So our ancestors, the ancient ones, had technology and abilities whereby they were able to use things like levitation, right? Levitation is the ability to move things and move them to a position. Also, they had technology which is now re-emerging called 3D printing. So, you know, even like the guy that's building the robots, don't want to give him too much, do you know what I mean, publicity, but the guy you all know who I'm talking about, he's doing that now with houses where you're building a house and then dismantling it and taking it to the location and just putting it together. So our ancient ones, the people with this technology and with the knowledge, they were able to levitate and move huge structures and put them where they wanted them to go. And when I say our ancestors, this is going back to extraterrestrials, okay, who then directed, and the people that were initiated and knew the secrets, because the pyramids were used for several things, but one of them was for teaching, and teaching this information that we're talking about, such as levitation, okay, alchemy, and certain things that people find, they say is magic today, but it's really just knowing the science. So those that were initiated and knew the secrets were guided by our ancestors that people refer to as extraterrestrials, and they helped them to design and plan and build these structures, which you can find all over the world. Because these schools, these mystery schools, although Egypt was the center and a lot of people went to Egypt to study, this is why in your religious books they tell you that, you know, Moses was in Egypt, Abraham was in Egypt, Jesus went to Egypt. Everybody seems to be going to Egypt because they were going there to study and learn, and they were taught these sciences, even according to their stories. So, but we know that they were built for specific purposes, and some of it was to balance out the planet, because when we speak about this planet now, most people don't know the history of the planet itself, because the planet as it is now is a lot smaller than what it was before. It used to be 3 to 4 times bigger than what it is today. And that's partly due to the meteorite showers, due to the crash of Nibiru. You know, there were many things that took place where the planet got smaller because it broke off, and then they had to kind of mold it, rebuild it, and terraform it, and then, you know what I mean, keep it in its orbit and everything like that that is today. But I hope that's answered your question. So it was really levitation, the science of 3D printing, and assistance from extraterrestrials with higher technology guiding us, their prodigy or their offspring, to also assist. All right, cool. Right, let's see. Let's go back to the questions until we get another call. How, this is Edward. Actually, yeah, let me just go back to, did Tylonda Smith have a question? If you did, just, no, you didn't. All right, you're just showing your love. All right, thank you. Much appreciate, love your donation. All right, let's get to the questions. Edward Asidu, how factual is it that Christianity was in Africa, particularly Ethiopia, early in history? And if that is so, was it the Ethiopian Christians who spread it throughout Africa to places like Ghana? Yeah, it is factual that, well, they call it Christianity, but it's just that there were books that are older than the Bible, etc., that were found and passed through to Ethiopia. One of them being what people know as the Maccabees, and yeah, a lot of those practices in terms of following some of the teachings of the Essenes were passed down, and then that got messed up and desecrated to become what people are calling Christianity today. But as we keep saying, we predate religion, so we have to go back way before Christianity. We have another caller, Rahubat.
Oh, my name is Tumaini. I'm from Africa, specifically Tanzania.
Greetings, go ahead.
I would like to ask you 2 questions. The first one is, I would like to know a short story about the real Yeshua Sananda, and what are the cloister Torah plates?
Sorry, can you repeat that last?
Okay, I would like to ask you 3 questions.
Yes, I thought you said 2 before, but now it's 3. But yeah, go on, go on.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think I
the
heard a
first
little
one-
bit about the real Sananda, and then go ahead, please.
I would like to know about a short story about the real Sananda Yeshua, and what was his purpose of incarnation into this earth plane, and what are the CDT plates, Cloister Dora Terra plates?
Okay, all right. First of all, let me answer the first question. These names like Sanenda, Yeshua, all the terms they're just different titles that different cultures use to refer to him. So we teach that you have an intergalactical name if you're somebody that has actually elevated to the point where you're now amongst the intergalactical community. All right. So on the crafts that a lot of people refer to as, like Nibiru and the Manjit and many crafts, they're known by different species, by different names and by different tones. So for example, the master teacher is known as Parnabab Yanun. So the Yanun with different dialects can be Yanan. Yeah. So if you read, we have a book called The Real Trinity, right, which explains that there are three different characters that have been put into the story of the Bible where you're talking about Jesus, right? So the one you're calling Yeshua would be the first one. That would be the son of Mary and the angel Gabriel, right? But people say that it was an immaculate conception and a virgin birth. So that would be the first one. The second one is that Yeshua had a child with Mary Magdalene, who was his wife, right? And they had a son known as Bar Jesus, yeah? But in the Bible, they refer to him as Bar Jesus. And then there's a third one called Cleophas, which was the son of Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Now, in the Bible, their three lives are mixed into one. So the real one that you're saying, the son of Yeshua Bar Jesus, he went to like India and he traveled and he learned like the Kabbalah and he was doing sorcery, and then that is what ended up having him killed. He's known as Saint Isa as well, right? And then the other one also got killed. When he got killed, he was brought back to the Vatican, and then his remains were put there, but they eventually got moved. But that's a long story. So when you say his return, it doesn't say that he was going to return. The Bible and the scriptures are misinterpreting what's happening, which is dealing with the Christ consciousness. Because even if you read the book of Revelations, it says that he's going to send and signify it through his angel. And the angel is Malachi. This is the person that will come and people will think is Yeshua. But he will be coming to teach and raise people up. I'm going to have to keep some of these answers short because we've got a lot of questions. But get that scroll, The Real Trinity, and it will explain more about the question you've asked. The plates, again, these are things that have been found. There are many tablets and writings that are found that tell you correct information, but they get destroyed or hidden. And there are many books. And I'm sure some of my mods in the chat will give you more information regarding that, all right? Okay, next caller, please.
Yes, hello?
Yeah, greetings, Rahubat.
Yes, Robert. My name's Sheldon from Dunstable.
Greetings.
I heard you say before that you want people to basically come into the community.
Yes.
So what is the best way to come in, or can you guys help with how we express or help the community, or?
Yeah, sure. So the best way is to get in contact, in tune with us. This is why we're giving all these like avenues that you can get involved and contact us, right? So you have to make yourself available. I know that's a good point because a lot of people have actually sent us emails to say they want to join the community, and we are actually inundated with a lot of people. So don't worry if we haven't got back to you. We are. This is why we've actually created like the Telegram group as well, because it's more instantaneous and you can like, keep asking us if we haven't got back to you in time. But we've sent out a newsletter. That's why at the beginning I mentioned the newsletter. The newsletter was sent out to everyone that has contacted us about, you know, wanting to join, wanting to get involved. And unfortunately, some people may have it in their spam or in their junk, or, you know, in somewhere that you have to search to find it because, you know, the email address may not be familiar. So contact us, make yourself known. And that's another point, that there's so many people that we reach and not everybody follows through. Some people just get excited, they like the information, but there are real people that are willing to, you know, do the work and transform themselves, get involved with helping and building, sharing the knowledge. So if you're one of those people, then yeah, make contact, join the Telegram group, and we will get in tune and in touch with you. All right. We've got another question, another caller. Rahubat, please go ahead.
Greetings. You may or may not remember me from last week. I asked about the telescope questions and you gave a good response back. But my question today is, I have a theory that, you know, many different tribes on Earth, which I don't really like the word races, but many different tribes on Earth has degenerated over the years physically, where they don't have certain glands in place in their body, and also DNA structures is compromised. And the question is it ethical for us to use science to regenerate us to a higher physical form to reach spiritual, you know, ascension?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're right. The generation, even the fact that most people on the planet use less than like 10% of their brain or less, shows you that you've got 90% that is not being used. But the degeneration has come by way of the wrong information and the wrong knowledge that is being taught. And like we said, religions and these older ways actually dumb you down because they don't allow you to exercise your own mental capability and capacity. And not only that, it's like the devices, you know, all of these, the social media and the technology that we are using, for example, even calculators, that makes you not exercise your brain. So the degeneration comes from the bad foods that we're eating, etc., etc. So in order to reverse that, this is why we're here. This is why Wu-Sabat is here. This is why the knowledge and the information by way of Parnabab Yanun, Dr. Malachi Z. York, is to help you, one, reignite your true being, right? Because once you do that, you start to study, you start to read, you start to free yourself from the bondage of people telling you what you should do. So technology, if you, again, I break this down a lot because repetition is one of the ways as well, because that dumbed down means that we don't have a long attention span. This is why people like the, you know, the social media, the short clips, the snippets, and it's not really the best way to learn, even though it's quick, because everybody wants everything quickly. Fast food, everything is fast, and you know that's rushing when you should really, you know, take time and really like absorb and digest what you're getting. So we say start the reading, the technology. So this is what I was going to say, I say all the time, where you look at who you are, you're like, okay, you go from density, then density to matter, right? The reason I say density is because there's different vibrations and level of density. Then you go to matter, right? The matter is what then forms what you will call atoms, yeah? And then atoms form cells, and the cells then form what we call organs or organisms or body, and then the organs make up your body. I'm saying that to say you have to go back to the cells, you have to go to the cellular. You have trillions of cells, in fact 24 trillion cells within your body. Most of the degeneration comes from those cells dying. Even when you're looking at health, like Dr. Sebi even said it, like if you damage the cells, like even when you start to get cancer, you have to get back to the cells and rejuvenate the cells. So I'm saying that to say that the knowledge and the information goes to the you have to learn how to deal with the cells and the regeneration. And this goes to your brain as well, dealing with neuroscience, regenerating those neurons when you start to think and use your brain more. So yes, the science is knowing how to regenerate those cells, and then that's physically, but then mentally as well with your neurons. So the science is really in the books. That's why Wu-Sabat is all about, Wu-Sabat is about you regenerating your brain and your mind, and then you connect with, you know, your divine self, and then you can do anything. All right. Ajayi Moses, again, I appreciate, love your donation. Thank you. Would you say that Kamala Harris and Smokey Robinson are neutrinoids? And in the Man from Planet Risk, the master says everyone has a clone, and his clone was a yogi. Do you have a clone, and how do you know? Yeah, I mean, in terms of a description of what a neutrinoid would look like, yes, those people that you've picked out, yeah, that's what we're saying. That for those who don't know what a neutrinoid is, you have the main races, the three races, which is we say Negroid, Mongoloid, and Caucasoid, and then the sub races are the mixture of those three, and then you have neutrinoids, which is taking DNA or percentages from the different root races and the sub races and creating a being that you can't tell literally what race they belong to. And in The Man from Planet Risk, the master says everyone has a clone, and his clone was in yogi. Do you have a clone? When we talk about the clone doctrine, again, you're right, it's in the Man from Planet Risk book. And these days as well, there are so many clones. And this is why it's very difficult nowadays to know what is true, because of the media, and people that have money, they can afford clones now. And this is what, in ancient times, the people with money used to have clones for body parts. Because if you imagine when somebody needs a heart, a liver or something, they have to go on a waiting list. They have to make sure that the person matches, you know, their blood types, etc., etc. So it's hard to get, you know, when you need a transplant. So people with money can have clones to use them for body parts. That's a quick answer. Again, look at the Planet Risk book. Rahubat, is Azamata? The next person on
Hello.
yeah, hi, greetings.
Hi, hello there.
Yes, go ahead.
My name
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My
What's
name is-
question?
My name is Victor Patrick, and I'm from Tanzania.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
My question is, you said that the first human being was a woman, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, go on.
And you said that they pass almost 400,000, 4,000 years, so as a man to start to speak, right?
What's your question?
My question is, did a woman get some knowledge before a man?
Okay, is that the question? Yeah.
Yes, I don't like to. I don't know how to produce it well, but
Okay, let me address it. If the first one is were women here first? Yes. Did women speak before men? Yes. Because the woman there gives birth to the man or to the male. You can tell by the X chromosomes and the XY chromosome. The XX is you know, even the material, the genetic material is more than a man. And when it's not just me saying that, when they were trying to find who the first person on the planet is, they dig up and they found, like, you know, the bones of Lucy. And in our book that we've put out, we give you all the findings, and all of them are in Africa, going back millions and millions of years, you know. So yes, the woman is first. The woman is more intelligent than the male. Having said that, like the caller previously was saying, that there's a lot of degeneration. So even though the woman is first and the woman has more intelligence and everything, the men suppress the woman as well. So that's why most of religions and organizations and, you know, the world is run by men, or was run by men, because the woman was suppressed to the point where she was just made to just be like, stay at the back, a housewife, you know, not really being able to really express and allow herself to flourish and grow. But that's all changing now, because the new cycle is the woman's time. It's the woman that's coming to be up front. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to work with the men, but men have ruled for so long. In ancient cultures, we ruled side by side with our, you know, with the females. So the gods and goddesses ruled together. So yes, in terms of the woman being first, speaking first, yeah, they spoke 54,000 years ago. All right. I think that's what I remember from your question. We have another question. Rahubat Zamaltat, greeting sister. Go ahead. What's your name and what's your question?
Greetings, brother. My name is Jackie. I'm from Toronto, Canada. Greetings. I just wanted to ask if, with regards to after death and the afterlife, and with regards to escaping the matrix, or escaping this inorganic matrix, are you in alignment with the idea of not going into the white light, and that is a trick? And could you give any insight into that, please?
Tua. Yes, excellent question. It shows that you're reading. That's great. Yeah, one, we don't die because energy cannot be destroyed. I think I'm going to explain it again. So you have different levels of existence, or different realms, right? And these realms, the highest of them, everything has ether. The highest is 9 ether. So let's say you have 9 levels. And when this body that we attach to is just a skin suit. And what people are calling death is when you no longer have a need for this physical body, and then you're translating or transmuting or crossing over to a higher level of vibration. Now, there are different levels, and if you are not aware and haven't raised your energy and your vibration in terms of your counterparts, your spiritual being, your soul, your mental being, then you can literally come back, and you keep coming back and reliving and living through different skin suits until you are able to move on. So the question about coming back, that's where you see the white light. And this is why the religious people, or people who have a near-death experience, will tell you that they saw or met angels, or they saw a white light, because you have ancestors that are waiting to receive you when you cross over. And if you make the grade, they will then help you. Just like when you're being born here, you have people in the hospital, you know, your family that are waiting for the baby that's being born. It's the same going in the other direction. If you don't make it, then the white light that you see is a portal that brings you right back here to start again. That's what the sister's referring to. We have a scroll called, a master secret called the the spiritual you after the physical you dies. That goes into a lot of that information. And you have to study Wu-Sabat, get involved with the community, because there are many things that you get that you're not going to get in these short answers. So yes, that is true. Let me move on and answer some other questions in here. All right. Okay, yeah, Tylonda Smith did have a question. She has 2 questions, and she showed us some love, so I've got to answer those questions. 2 questions. Did we form from the water or the stars? 2, I heard somewhere that Jesus was serving the water god, i.e. baptism, water to wine and walking on water. All right. Yes. Well, the first question is that, yes, we came from the stars. So in that regard, the germs, or the properties that were inserted into the waters to germinate the water, to then evolve to produce us, right, as humanoids, came from the stars. The original people on the planet would be the Africans, and that would be our ancestors from Orion and Sirius. But the waters and life forms also was already on the planet, as in, you know, there are many, many types of life forms in the waters, and they're still there, and others have evolved. But in terms of life that came onto land, that was from our ancestors putting these genes into the dolphin and then transported the dolphin here, and then the dolphin went in the waters and then germinated the water, and then our life form evolved from the seas onto land. The questions are coming so fast, so that I'm trying to find back where I was. Is there someone else on the call? All right, I just want to finish. Yeah, there you go, Yolanda's question. So yeah, we came from the stars first, and then into the waters, and then onto land. And the water thing is because everything is water. So this is why Jesus was known as a fisherman. The symbology is all about water. This is why instead of Christians wearing a cross, which was a symbol of death, it should really be a fish, because he was a fisherman, he was from the waters. And the Catholic Church, you know, with the popes, they wear that, the mitre, I think that's the right, yeah, the mitre, that kind of hat, that shows you a fish. That ties into the Dogon tribe, because every one of the ancient ones know that we came from the water, the frogs, and, you know, we came onto land. Even the ancient Egyptian story talks about coming from the water. We're breathing water right now. We live in a planet called water, which is an aquarium. Oxygen and hydrogen is everywhere. That's all part of water. But I'm giving you snippets because, again, you need to study, come to classes where you can ask your questions and get a longer time. Rahubat and greetings to caller. Please say your name and where you're calling from and your question.
Hello, my name is Thabo Miriminzi. I'm from South Africa.
Greetings, brother.
I have two questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, the first one is I've been watching that Elon Musk, he says he wants to go to Mars with their rockets, but I want to know, is there a firmament? Because it seems like they've been saying they want to go there, but they failed so many times. And my second question.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
My second question is, what is a disease? Can you please explain to me what is a disease?
Okay, thank you. Right, the Mars thing, they've been to Mars long time ago. And when you know, like what people are calling life, again, relating to the previous question, that life is not just humanoid life. Wherever there's water, there is life, you know, and I mentioned that there's hydrogen everywhere. And so they've already been to Mars. It's just that they don't give you all the information. They already have people, they've been to many places. And it's just that the reason they can't escape is because you have our ancestors and certain other extraterrestrials that don't welcome them. And now, yeah, the second question was about disease. The word tells you dis-ease. When you're not in a comfortable state, you're in an uncomfortable state. Dis means to go against, right? So ease, when you're at ease. Dis-ease is disease. And what that is caused by you, like I was explaining before, if your cells are getting damaged or your lungs or something that you've done to disconnect, a lot of times it's also spiritual, because your vibration, remember, you have counterparts. And sometimes if you're not connected, or the connection between your spiritual, your mental, or your etheric being is out of whack, then it results in your physical body. Because as I explained before, your physical body is just a skin suit. You can also you can catch viruses, you know, viruses that, again, like go against your natural systems. So, for example, people drink, they smoke, they take pollution, they eat bad foods, and those diets create an acidic environment where diseases thrive. This is why it's good to not eat dead meat, and the things we eat, dead flesh, they rot, they make your body sick. Metals, there are lots of metals that we take. Ions, they're very, very tiny metals. Then we eat too many, like people that eat cheese and things like that. This is why we say the cheese, it's not good because it builds up mucus. Again, Dr. Sebi was explaining about mucus. The mucus traps the metals in your body, and these little ions, and then they start to rust. And the rust is what causes, the cancerous cells. This is why you have to get to treating the cells. A lot of us don't drink enough water, etc. All right. So I hope that's answered the question. We have many, many books and scrolls that go into more detail. Rahubat caller, greetings.
Travis Sutherland from Belize.
Greetings. How are you?
Yeah, I wanted to know if the Elon Musk, the Starlink, if it has something to do with Skynet from out of the Terminator series, because it sounds,
Yeah,
like it's the same thing that we're going through.
absolutely.
If it's a beginning or something like that,
Yeah, I mean, you can see what the world is, where the world is going, and yeah, Starlink. That's his internet service that he provides, which all his technologies and everything that he's building actually links up. Like he was even saying that you can take cars up with him. But yeah, Starlink it's literally, as you say, if you watch the movies, like the Terminator, which is the prequel to the Matrix movies, they literally tell you, things that we're living in, because most of what was happening in the movie The Matrix is literally what's happening now. If you watch movies that came way before, like iRobot, for example, you go back and watch that and you see what's happening today, you can see the relationship. And this is why we encourage people to watch movies, because they tell you stories through visually, so you think it's entertainment, but a lot of what they're telling you and saying is obsolete technology, meaning that the master teacher taught us that every time you see a technology that they're making public, there are actually 6 levels deeper than that. Like, for example, if this was an iPhone 1, iPhone 6 is already out, but you just don't have access to it until when you get iPhone 6, they will be on iPhone 12, because extraterrestrials are the ones that are working with some of these people, and some of them are actually extraterrestrials themselves. So they tell you what's going on in the movies. If you go on the nashat.co website, go to the Connect page, you see we have a whole list of movies for you to watch that we've been advised to watch, so that you can be in tune with what's going on. There's a link, because his satellites are surrounding the planet right now, in terms of, so you can have access to, to internet anywhere you are in the most remote places. And you see how he's lining up with the elections that are going on with the candidate. All right, let's keep going. I wanted to ask Joseph Worries, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. What deal did the Pleiadians made to stop being eaten? Can 9 ether beings use their energy for spiritual healing? What are names of gods for 9 ether beings to pray to? Well, yes, so the Pleiadians basically made a deal to say that we will create you an alternative food source. This is how the Adamites were grafted and made. So that was the deal. Like, it's like, imagine now everybody eats what they think is chicken, because everywhere you go they say it's chicken, chicken, chicken. And most of the meat that you're eating, which doesn't have a bone or you didn't see it, could be any type of meat on the planet. Could be human meat, it could be anything, and you don't know. So once it's minced up, colored, put into a burger, you eat it, and then you just say everything tastes like chicken. That relates to the Matrix movie as well, because there was a clip where the guy was eating a steak and he said, although I know this is not steak, ignorance is bliss. And this is what they bank on, right? So yeah, you've got to be very careful of what you're eating. So the Pleiadians, they asked the Draconians to say, look, we can give you a food source so that you can stop eating us or leave us alone. All right. The second part was 9 ether beings. Yes, we can use our energy to heal. We can heal anybody from anywhere in any part of the world. You just have to know that it's about frequency. Yeah, you just have to match that frequency. This is why people can pray for you. And they say it's religion, but it's not. It's about that energy, collective minds. It's called mind linked, where we have a master secret that actually goes into that. And once you're connected on the same resonance frequency, you're connected with any other person on that same resonance frequency, and together you can channel that energy anywhere in the universe and you can heal. Yes, so that's true. And the names, that's important. This is why Wu-Sabat is a culture that has a language, because the tones that you use in the words break the spell of the spellings of, you know, the English. So yes, you need to know who to call on, and this is our Parnatharu. Again, when you're on the inside, when you're connected with us, when you come to the classes, you will get the chance and you know what names to call on, right? That's our ancestors. There are many of them. There's a chant we have that we go through and list all their names. Okay, let's see what else I can. All right, goes 2023. There is no God. We're beings of the stars. Let's remember that. Absolutely. The term God, this is just such a misused word, because, you know, you are the God. Like, we've given you the quotes. Even the Bible, the Quran tells you that you are, because, you know, the term God just means that somebody that's in control, because the attributes are all about a human, walking, talking, grieving. He's sad, he destroys things. You know, that's what humans do. And depending on which side you're leaning towards, agreeable or disagreeable, you behave that way. But Wu-Sabat makes you a supreme being. A supreme being is higher than a god. Yeah. So there, let's start learning the language, learning the correct tones. You are a supreme being, a Nathar, and a Nathar Ret. All right, let's keep going. Okay, yeah, Free the Master Teacher. I wrote the words down so that I can learn the song. Yeah, you can go on YouTube and search Love and Unity, Freedom for the Master Teacher. All of you join the Telegram group, subscribe to OSM Vision, attend the classes, get on your journey, because these lower mysteries and religions, they just distract you and make you waste your time and energy instead of focusing that energy into developing yourself. Yeah, so that question, I forgot to finish it off, goes 2023, about how do I feel about, yeah, how do I feel about the person that was quoting that there's non-human intelligence. This planet had non-human intelligence. Bacteria is non-human intelligence. If it can beat you to give you cancer, viruses are non-human intelligence. Because if it can give you cancer and you don't know what to do about it, it's very intelligent, right? So yes, when we think about intelligence, we think as humanoids that we're the only intelligent life form. The dolphins are far more intelligent than us. Many species are far more intelligent than us. So yes, non-intelligent life form have been here from the beginning. Facts. I need to make way to the UK. Yeah, come, we welcome you. Do you think the stars are physical objects? No, stars are just hydrogen and helium that is burning. It's atomic energy. So when you say physical, this is why I always give you like the density thing, because what you're calling physical, you see CERN, right? The organization CERN. What they're doing is they've got projects, like they use the Hadron Collider, right? Where they are basically speeding atoms to collide with each other, to break them, to see what's inside of the tiniest thing. Because the more they keep going, because they're trying to figure out where did everything start from, because everything starts small and then grows, right? So they want to know what was the first thing. And when they keep smashing these atoms together to divide them, they find out that it keeps subdividing and subdividing to the point where they open portals and bring things from outside of this realm. So yes, physical, depending on how small you're going, because everything is physical, just at different levels of vibration until you get to where we're calling ether, or the higher levels of ether. Can you tell me a Nubian story, something that is very important? That's so broad and vague, but the story is Wu-Sabat is here. Wu-Sabat is the future. Yeah, Wu-Sabat to the world. Wu-Sabat is what you need to grow and elevate and transform yourself. And the master teacher, Partner Bab Yanun, is here. And that's why we're doing what we do. So I hope that's a good story, because it was very vague. I put in a request on both websites but didn't receive anything back. This is from iTech Smart Faster Service. All right, join the Telegram group, because we get that live. And with those types of things through the website, the emails or whatever could have gone to spam. No, there are many reasons why, but it might just be that it's coming. But I would say join the Telegram group. We've put the link in the chat, and then you can get a response from somebody straight away. Quincy Fraser, how come demons and even aliens fear the name Jesus and get casted out when his real name is Yeshua? Yeah, that again, that's opinions and religion, because where's the proof? Where's the proof? And again, that's such a subjective question, because we have to break down what we're calling demons, aliens, and where's the proof that they fear the name Jesus. When people do things by their own power, whoever's the person that's doing this, if I was doing it, it's you that is the power that you're bringing, not you're saying is Jesus, but it's just like I explained before. A lot of people give the praise to somebody else for the power that they have and for them doing what they do. Would you accept my book to be showcased at your store if I made one? Yeah, we have hundreds of books from different authors. I mean, we are not that type of people. We don't fear other people's information, because we know Wu-Sabat is so far ahead, of everything out there. And that's why we say, ask everybody, listen to everybody, read all the books, research, make up your own mind. And we have many books from different authors. So yes, we'd have to see the book and then take it from there. That's Maramir. RBLDN, how does one find out where they are from, as there are so many different plants and star systems, etc.? This question is, this is why we need to get the master teacher out. You can do the work and try and, contact your ancestors and things like that, but ultimately, there's certain information that only he can give us. Do we all come from the same place? No, we don't. Greetings and gratitude, OSM Vision. How can we book you and your team as an in-person speaker for our leaders conference? Yeah, again, just Telegram group. I'm going to keep saying that, because that's how we will be able to respond quicker. We'll go live call. Greetings, family. What's your name?
Hey, how are you?
Doing my best. How are you?
Okay, very good. My name is Earl. I'm from Thailand. And thank you for all your teaching. I appreciate it. I was listening to you one time, and you were talking about you all have healers who can help people who are going through different problems. And I have like kind of an emergency right now, and I need a healer to help me with something that I'm dealing with, and I want to know if there's any way you could help me.
Again,
Not you, but so you could get me in contact with someone who can help me. That does Wu-Sabat.
okay. Again, that's a very personal matter, and we'll have to take that one offline and find out exactly what the details are, and then we can help. All right, in any way we can. Yeah. Okay. What else have we got here? When is Nibiru returning? This is from, I can't see the name, but Nibiru, a lot of people say, when is Nibiru returning? And everyone's talking about Nibiru as if it's for everyone. And also, Nibiru is too big. Nibiru does not come here. It comes close and then it releases smaller crafts to pick up people because it's too big. Nibiru coming too close to the planet will cause a lot of destruction. And this is, even though, you know, it's happening anyway with like, you know, the different like tornadoes, earthquakes and all of that. That's because there's a dimensional shift happening anyway. And Nibiru is dealing with the Anunnakis and yeah, not everyone's, Nibiru is not for everyone. Okay, let me see. Rahubat, is Dr. York Afro Uno? If he is, which school was he teaching under that name? Yes, Dr. York is Afro Uno. Yeah, and then in that, he was teaching us wu-nuwapu at the time, but we weren't ready for it. So he just planted the seeds and then carried on teaching us what we wanted until he was ready to give us what he came to give, which is wu-nuwapu, but now Wu-Sabat. Yeah. Okay. And if he's, which school was he teaching under that name? He was teaching under the name of Amanubira Akata at the time. And yeah, a lot of people didn't really know that. Next caller, could you go ahead and ask a question,
Hi,
please?
good afternoon.
Greetings, Rahubat, how you doing?
By saying and giving my name, can Dr. Malachi York see and read me and like tell me about me? If that makes sense.
Well, you're talking to me right now, but he's a being that if you would like to have a connection, you can. Just like how you would have a connection with any other entity, but you have to raise your vibration and understand and know how to make a connection with him. But names are just titles. That, yeah, so the question is quite vague and he can connect with anybody and have a connection if you have the spiritual connection. Yeah, I hope that answered the question. Okay, let's see. If Dr. Yo had so much knowledge of the past, present and future, how come he didn't see his community's downfall and his impending incarceration? Serious question. Yeah, that's kind of funny because, well, it's not funny, but I see you're serious. You're not just taking you're not just trying to be funny, right? So the answer is actually that he did. And also you have to recognize that Dr. Malachi York is a part of a council, the Nine, right? And there's a book, a scroll called the Nine, that he explains that just like we have the Galactical Confederation, they work together and they know things and they plan ahead. So in terms of, you're saying, for example, the community's downfall, everything you have to destroy to rebuild. So just because something might be considered downfall, we're still thriving and we're still rebuilding and it's going to be even bigger and better. So sometimes that might seem to somebody like, oh, it's a downfall. But like if for example, you had a nice house and your house got destroyed. That's an opportunity for you to rebuild. And just like when, for example, Mandela was incarcerated, the world got to know about him. And there are things that are done on a higher level or higher intelligence that you may not see, and it may look to you one way, but it's actually the other way. So the community is still thriving, it's still here. So the impending incarceration led to him having the time to actually complete our language, complete a lot of information and our doctrine that we have now. Because before his incarceration, he was about 400 to 500 books deep, and since then till now, there's over 1,000 books. So I'm just saying, don't believe the hype. Just because something looks a particular way doesn't mean that that's what it is. I say he knew because if those of us who have been around for a long time, there are many books or recordings that you can go back to and listen to and read now that you see that he told us of this coming. And finally, that's like saying if Jesus knew he was going to die on the cross, what happened? Because he came. Every teacher you can think of that has come ended up being, even Muhammad was poisoned and killed. We can go to Malcolm X, we can go to anyone you can, any name you can pick up. There's not one person you can say to me that came, that knew everything and didn't have what you're considering to be a downfall. However, he's still here, still teaching and building. Greetings, Rahubat, caller.
Greetings. My name is Naeem, and my question is, does fasting break strongholds? As well, will we see a massive disclosure in the physical?
Tour, absolutely. The disclosure part. Yeah, fasting does. This is where we're saying that you know, you have to learn how to, because there are many things that you hold within your being, like in the cells, in your memories, in your subconscious especially. The subconscious is where sub means under, hidden, right? So that's why you get words like submarine. Marine deals with water, and sub is like you have submarines or crafts that are deep down underwater that you don't know they're there. Submental, which is this area here where sub is under and it interacts with your mental. Subdue, everything that's used the word sub is saying is hidden. So when you say subconscious, you have a subconscious mind. And a lot of a subconscious mind is where you're taking information or taking things that are affecting you, but you're not aware of it because you're using your conscious mind mostly. So a lot of things are hidden in the subconscious mind. And that's where by disciplines like fasting, meditation, and cleansing, this is why the master teacher asked us to clean ourselves inside out. And by doing that and being aware, that's where these spiritual practices deal with the sub-mental or the subconscious, because that's where, again, listen to the word subliminal. Subliminal indoctrination is like, for example, when you're watching a movie, which used to be called cinema, because it's about sin. They promote things that may appear to be good, but they're bad for you. But the way that movies work is you have many frames, and within the different frames, messages can be put in between so that when the reel is going and you're moving the pictures quickly, you're seeing moving pictures. But there are small images or things that are flashed in between that are picked up by your subconscious mind, and that will program you to do something. So for example, many experiments were carried out during, when you go to the cinema and you're watching a movie, moving pictures, and at breaks or afterwards, the messages that were subliminally flashed at you, you can then, it might say buy popcorn or go and buy a particular drink. And you see a lot of people will do it. So the psychologists and people that know about the mind, this is where you get things like MK Ultra and the programming of the mind, or what they call, basically it's all about programming you so that with certain tones, certain vibrations, certain words, certain pictures, you will react and not realize, because it's all in the subconscious. So yeah, that's a very good question. And in terms of the disclosure, this is why the American government, actually Congress, have already done disclosure, but they did it so that you can't say you were never told, because extraterrestrials and UFOs and UAPs, as they call them now, are being cited more and more by different people. So people can travel to these different realms when they go to sleep. They call it dreaming. But that's when your physical body is at rest, and then your spiritual being can travel. So it's going to get to a point where it's becoming so popular that it's going to be hard to keep the lid on it. So disclosure will definitely, we will see it in our lifetime. So yes, good question. Okay, how do historical records from ancient Egypt describe their relationships with Nubia, and do these descriptions align with the notion of unified Nubian Egyptian culture? See, again, when we start dealing with the subject of Egypt, what a lot of what people know of Egypt has been commercialized. So you have to go pre-dynastic. You have to go back to what we're talking about when we say these Pataites, or the Neolithic, going back to like Napata and Meroe. This is way before what people are calling Egypt and Nubia. Today, what you call in Nubia is the mixture that has been created from people that came into Egypt, like the Hyksos dynasty. And so, when you go to Egypt, you've got like Aswan, you've got Luxor, you've got different places. But Aswan, for example, where the natives, the descendants of the original people are there, but they've been pushed away. So the ones you see today are kind of like more like the Arabs that, like I mentioned, that basically invaded and went into Egypt. So Egypt is, that's why we go back to what we say is Wu-Sabat, which predates what people are calling like the Egyptian dynasties, etc. So we're talking about way before. All right, whilst we wait for another call, let's see if I can answer some more questions. Get your questions in, connect with us. Oh, right. That's a good question, Quincy. Why can't people who are possessed or disagreeable spiritual beings can't look me in the eye or show nervousness and guilt or shame when being confronted with truth? When I use... Again, you keep... I don't know, you're trying to push this Jesus name. The reason for that is nothing to do with Jesus. It's to do with you and to do with maybe your vibration, meaning that the eyes are the windows to the soul. And when you're dealing with truth, you're looking into someone's eyes, you're looking into their soul. And if people are, and a lot of people have actually been trained and taught not to look people in the eye. So they look down, they look around. So not everyone that is behaving in that manner means that they are disagreeable, but I don't know why you're trying to push this Jesus thing, because it's not Jesus. There's no such person. Next caller, please.
Hello, my name is Kai. I'm from Chicago. I'm calling to ask, is the story of Yaqub true?
Yes, it is. But that same story, like a lot of other stories, have been mixed up, remixed, and misinterpreted. And again, you can get all the information regarding that story in a scroll by Dr. Malachi Z. called Shambara and Agatha, The Cities Within. And that story was about, because in the caverns you had different extraterrestrial beings that have been on this planet and were living there. one of them was known as the Donakil, and the other one was known as the Teros. All right. Now, because of the fact that they have different chromosomes, when they produce offspring, they created this being called Yaqub, because he suffered from there's a word for it when you have two brains. I can't remember the term. And he had a big head because he had two brains. And he was ridiculed and teased by the two sides because he looked different. And so he vouched that he was going to get them back. And he said that he was going to create a weak and wicked being to show them that he was God. And so he went about creating the first variation of what you would call the Adamites, but they were known as the Flugerods, right? And that story, when other people tried to explain it, like, you know, the Nation of Islam, when they explained it as well, but there were remixes and they were saying it in a way that, you know, that the uncle found a magnet and rubbed it together, but it was the same story, and it's the same story that ended up in the Bible with the Jacob and Esau story, but it's just a remix of the same story, but it was a true story based on this this entity. And he went around the coast of Africa because he was doing this on his journey. So he took the black genes, and then the story goes that to end up with this being that's considered to be weak and wicked, he had to extract, you know, the brown from the black to get to the yellow, to the red, and then to the colorless man. But that was before the Adamite story, you see. But then eventually, some of the Fulgurod mixed with the Canaanites or the Canaanites, who they came by way of the curse of leprosy, you see. And that ties in with this story of the Pleiadians, and, you know, them asking the Draconians to stop eating them so that they can create a source of food for them, known today as the Adamites. That's where you get the red, ruddy red being that in the Bible they're picking up as Adam, because the word Adam comes from the Hebrew word Adama, which means of the ground, and ruddy red. And, you know, it explains there's different Adams in the so-called Bible, but yeah, so that story is true. Again, I've just given you, you know, the short version. Yeah, the question about the Philosopher's Stone, apparently Tahuti speaks about, and it's in the book of Aquarius, how to make it. Again, Tahuti is the most intelligent and prolific writer with the emerald tablets and so on. And yeah, when you say Philosopher's Stone, again, that's when the Greeks got hold of it. But yes, Tahuti is that being that is the reincarnation today of Pa and the Babyanon, Dr. Malachi Zio. Caller, go ahead.
This is Kai again. Calling to ask one more question about Wallace Ford Muhammad. Because of like his racial, like the color of his skin, it made me question like the start of the Nation of Islam, and if that is the right person we should be looking at. Like, was he a part of the CIA? Because like I feel as though like he got some information and tried to help the black community as much as possible. That's one of the questions. I mean, that's one of the thoughts I had that he probably did, but it kind of gave like he is a CIA informant, or at least
again, this is something that has been addressed in many books by Dr. Malachi Zio. But at the end of the day, right, we're here to be united and not divisive, and we want obviously the information that the master teacher is teaching is so far ahead now today that we don't want to keep getting pulled back into these, you know, the religious books, or because really ultimately, like you say, when you deal with the Nation of Islam, they teach in religion, and that Islam by way of the Arabs. And like you say, when you look at the picture of, you know, W.D. Fard Muhammad, he was, he was mixed. He was a half Caucasian. And it's kind of backwards that if you're a Nagaru or Negroid that is fully 100% Nagaru, and then you have a mixture, that you would then follow someone that is, you know, especially if you're teaching that the white man is the devil, and which was the, you know, those teachings were taught initially. But as of today, it's really about those true seekers of truth to come over. Let's be one. And we had a picture out, the master teacher put out a picture a long time ago called We're Family, which you can still find, where it's about all the leaders coming together. But yes, you're right, there was the infiltration, there was a conspiracy, and ultimately it was teaching religion, which we're not about. We're moving away from that. We teach religion to help people to see the truth and then make their own mind up. However, you know, people have to make their own choice. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the original founder, before he left, he actually guided and told people who to look out for and who to follow and to, you know, move over. So people do know this information, and it's down to them if they want to make the choice. I want to ask if you guys are shipping books to the Netherlands so that I can order some. Yes, we are. We ship worldwide. So yes, you can. Oh, lovely to see the Gloucester masses online, especially after our live radio show on Saturday with Wu-Sabat. Yes, I wanna give you guys a big shout of love. We went over there and did a show. We met some of the most, you know, loving, beautiful people, and we'll be coming back again. And yeah, Gloucester's in the house, and like Wu-Sabat to the world, we want to reach every corner because this transcends people, places, and things. We want to move to vibrating and raising all of us to a level where we're starting to do things as supreme beings. You know, it's happening. People are waking up, and when things are happening to different people around the world, it's real. It's not me making it up. There are people who are having these experiences or have had these experiences all their life in terms of having like the abilities to do things, but they felt out of place or were ridiculed or made to feel like they were crazy when they've actually had an experience where they've met or seen extraterrestrials or been on crafts or, you know, traveled in their sleep, astral projection, and all of these things that we're supposed to be able to do naturally, you know. So big up Gloucester family. Yeah, good to see you all here. Okay, let me see. I haven't missed. I'm going to go right back and look through to see if I've missed anything because so many of you joining. Remember, your journey is your journey, and don't let anyone try to influence you, control you. You know, do it yourself. Study, read, make up your own mind. See if it works. And another note, because there are people that come on the platform and they think by just pushing what they're saying, it's fine. You know, people see through all of that. And if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. And there are going to be people who will not, you know, move to Wu-Sabat immediately. Some people it takes them time to confirm things for themselves, you know. But if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. What is the this is Sagi Empress. What is the origin of speaking in tongues? Yeah, again, we've got books called Speaking in Tongues, and we've got another one, Speaking of Tongues. And the origin goes back to, excuse me, being possessed by disembodied beings. And you find this in the book of Acts. But the thing is, you have to understand what it was really about. The speaking in tongues thing was being able to speak other languages and share the good news, or the scriptures, as they called it, the gospel, right? But today, what people are calling speaking in tongues is actually speaking gibberish, which is when disagreeable entities, the dead, which people refer to as ghosts, are trying to utilize the living to experience life again. And when, you know, you go to like these churches, like the Pentecostal churches and certain churches, that they beckon and call on these names, like this person keeps saying in here, these tones, these vibrations, these frequencies, they beckon these beings and they come and try to fuse with the physical person. This is why they start acting in an uncomfortable state, and they're uneasy, and then they start to foam, shake, and they start to utter this, what we call gibberish, and they say speaking in tongues. But the word tongue is lasan in the language, which means speaking with another language, so you can automatically speak different languages, you see. And this is why we tell you this word, the good news, Wu-Sabat, has to spread worldwide and be available to different people in different languages. And the master teacher is a linguist, and that's what he studied, and he speaks many languages. So the speaking in tongue, in terms of how the church is interpreting it, is incorrect. We actually have, as I said, the book called Speaking in Tongues, Speaking of Tongues, which you can get to get more information about that. Okay, let me see what else we have. Okay, Mo made this, it says, is there anyone else we might know of that has been possessed by Tahuti, the same being that has possessed the master teacher, the spirit still present? Listen, you're making, this all this slick people, I don't know if you're being slick, but the master teacher is not possessed. That's not a possession. He is a being that is able to control, and not anyone can possess him. It's like a possession is different from being an avatar or a channel, or somebody that is channeling information from beings that are allowed, or he's allowing them. So this he's not possessed. So when people try that, the being Tahuti has incarnated over many generations or many cultures. That's why he's known as Hermes. He's known by many names, Tahuti. But yeah, the master teacher is not possessed. He's an avatar, a channel that is used, and only specific beings can communicate through him, just like other mediums who are used. But a possession is when you are not in control of the entity that is taking control of your body. All right. So hope that's answered that question. Oh, why do you side squares around even the photo from behind? I don't understand. Why do 4 sides squares around even the photo from behind? That's a very vague question, because I think I kind of get where you're coming from. This is from Esworth Charles. I think that's trying to talk about the, I think it might be related to the squares in terms of, you can have pictures in a circle, but it's not quite the same. I don't understand. The question is not very clear. Let me move on. Could you explain why the master teacher needed to transition between the different schools of thought, Islam, Christianity, and how we can discern the truth in the scriptures from the falsehood? Yeah, that was just like, in order to train you and to teach us, because before you're able to open your mind up and accept information that's new to you, a lot of times people hold on to what they know. Just like we're finding now, where you're trying to teach people about, these religions, and they're holding on to them. So he knew that he had to raise us up in degrees. Just like when you go to school, you're not going to be taught university level information when you're in the kindergarten or nursery. So you learn in stages, and not only that, your mind and your brain specifically has to be able to, it's like a muscle. You can't start lifting high volume weights if you can't lift the smallest ones yet. So you have to train your muscles to lift more and more as you get stronger. It's the same with the mind. So the schools were just walking us back, as I said, because when you're in the school of religion, you believe everything they're telling you in this book that they're telling you is from God, and you believe, that there's a character somewhere in heaven. And so when you you have to, some people, if you just tell them straight out, like, these gods are extraterrestrials or whatever, they might not be able to handle it. So you have to walk them through. So we wanted, when he was trying to teach us actual facts, Partarak, Master Secret, known as the Hereafter Doctrine, or wu-nuwapu, Wu-Sabat, we were still asking questions based on the books of the Bible. So that's why he took us through the different schools. So now we going out to help save people that are in that worldwide, we have to be able to converse with them in whatever school they're in. And you find that. That's why when you speak to people that are in, say, Islam, you have to speak to them based on what they know. You speak to people that are in Christianity, you have to meet them where they're at, and then you raise them up in degrees and vibration. And how can you discern the truth? Truth is truth. The truth, you feel it, you know it, you can check it out, compare it with other things, and then you will know for sure. The truth has to have no doubt. So you have to keep questioning and probing until it makes sense and is clear to you. All right. The mods are helping. They're putting scrolls and books and references for you guys to go and research. When someone is near transition, how can Wu-Sabat play a part? It depends on who the person is when you say someone, because that's the whole point. Wu-Sabat is supposed to, you're supposed to, I mean, obviously, if you didn't know about Wu-Sabat, that's different, but Wu-Sabat is here to prepare you. And so because if you don't know what's going to happen to you when you're when you're transitioning, then you might just be afraid, you might be scared, you might be, coming up, meeting these different entities. You might not know that some of them are disagreeable. But if it's somebody that has known about Wu-Sabat and they're studying and putting into practice, we have scrolls like the 24 elders, like the spiritual you after the physical you dies, and many, many other scrolls that when you read them, it starts to take away that fear. You start to know that you're just moving to a different level of existence, and you know what to expect, and you're not going to be tricked when you're in that situation. And in terms of what can be done, it depends on the person and what it is their chance. There are supplications and things that we do that can help. But it's not about leaving it to the very last moment and then you start to worry or panic in terms of where am I going, what's going to happen to me and stuff like that, because you've been promised this going to heaven or going to hell story from the religious world. What do you, about David James, what do you mean when you say don't be on the ET's menu? Meaning that there are extraterrestrials that eat human flesh and eat humans, just like humans that eat cows and chickens and pigs. You know, some of these extraterrestrials, they eat flesh. So when we say menu, M-E-N, the men, as in man, you, meaning that you don't want to be. There are many, many movies that talk about this. Yeah, so that's what we're saying. Avoid seasoning yourself and preparing yourself to be taken by extraterrestrials that abduct people. Many people go missing, and there are extraterrestrials that eat human flesh. There are people on the planet that eat human flesh. And it's disguised in many ways. I know some of this stuff might sound scary to some people, but do your research. So God Blackman, is colonization good or bad for black people? If it's bad, then how do we escape it? Yeah, of course it's bad. People telling you to be other than who you are and to do things to you that it's not humane. And how do you escape it? And again, I don't even know who's black people will refer to, but I know what you're saying. In that general sense of the word, we get together, we build, and we raise ourselves so that we're not acting and behaving in a manner which can, you can be colonized. What is your task about Gnostic teachings? Yeah, those are some of the things that they try to hide from people. Those teachings, this is where we talk about true spirituality, or some of the information that, these spiritual schools had, like the Essenes, and they hide some of these teachings. But ultimately, it's about Wu-Sabat now. What else? And yeah, when people generalize a lot, it's when you say we, not everybody is in the same level or position. People that don't raise themselves or are still in religion, for example, they think everybody's on the same level, which is not true.
So this person, they don't want to talk, but they said, can you read it out?
Okay. I have a question. What evidence do you have for your teaching, such as the stories about planet risk and the narrative of the history of the Earth? Thanks, Alex. All right. So again, it's not what we have; it's what's been found and proven. So if you don't know something and you've never been aware of something, it doesn't exist to you, right? But the minute you are told that information, you start to research, you start to look, and you will find for yourself the evidence that backs it up, right? So I'm saying that to say, it's just like, have you noticed that when you buy a car, a particular model, that you start seeing that car everywhere, but before that, you didn't see it, right? So when we're dealing with planet risk, remember, that information was first given to us by someone who's saying, I come from this place. And people were like, where is it? Give us a description. And he explained lots of detail. You can find this in the Holy Tablets. You can find this in a little scroll called Ilion and Risk, where he was describing it having a tri-solar system. He gave us so much detail prior to anyone ever doing so, right? And people were like skeptical, how do we know? It's just like, if I told you I come from somewhere that you've never been before, all you can do is rely on me to explain and tell you what that place is like, right? So if you've never been to Africa before, never been to a particular village, it doesn't exist to you, right? But with time, things like tri-solar systems were not found, but eventually they got found. So now, if somebody told you about that before it was found, how can you now dispute it when you can see the evidence? Yeah, that's just one example. Now, as opposed to the scriptures and all of that, when we say the Bible, the Quran, and these books are plagiarized and they're young in terms of how long they've been around on the planet, so you have to go and do the research. And we say, this book here is older than this one, right? The Sumerian tablets, the, Gilgamesh epics, the Enuma Elish, so many tablets that get found, and then you read them and they have stories that are identical to the stories you're reading in the much younger books. And you're like, well, if this story came first, that one it predates the one that you're using today. So you have to research, the scientists, the archaeologists, the anthropologists, people that they look for things and they research and they study and then they come with evidence. That's how you know. And you compare and then you make up your own mind. And that's how you know. King, yep. I've lost my chat, so if you can just help me find that, please. How you all doing out there? Hope you're enjoying the live sessions. Tawul Tak, thank you. Goals 2023. I can have a debate and give straight proof that Atlantis was in Africa and that beings come from the stars. That's true. But again, we don't debate. The debate thing is like, it's either true or it isn't. It's either fact or it isn't. And we're not trying to fight each other. We're trying to teach and give out information for people to research and for people to be able to discern and, wake up from the spell. How do you feel about Billy Carson's work? Do you think it aligns with the work of Wu-Sabat? Okay, so the thing about different people, first of all, we're not here to put down anybody, and we're about unity and unification. But I will tell you this for a fact. There's nobody, no matter who you are on the planet right now, that will surpass the information of Wu-Sabat or of the master teacher. So it's best we just come together and work together. People do give information, like Bill Carson, like, our brother, brilliant brother, Dr. Umar. It's not Umar Johnson anymore, it's Ife Tunde, right? I can name many, many people out there, but they give information, which is great, but are they able to take you further than that, in terms of the language, teach you a language, the culture, the deeper levels of information? I've not seen that. Do they have a culture the way they, where's the foundation? Where is the source of the information, and where is it leading or taking us? Is it just information, and then leave you to your own devices? Or is it of building a community, building a culture and living by that culture? So yeah, we just say, all these brothers, they really should come close and come and work with us if they're really about doing the work of, humanity, uplifting humanity. So yeah, I ain't got nothing against Billy Carson, but Wu-Sabat is on a totally different level, It's our job as student teachers. Okay, sorry. That's one of our student teachers. What's the master's teacher's plan to liberate Africa from religion, since it's the most affected, where we can't afford the books or access? Yeah, it's not just about what the master teacher has done. He's done a lot of work by putting out the knowledge, the information, building communities, giving us our language, giving us back everything that was taken from us to know who we are. Now we have to do our part. And if you're in a location, in a place, you're supposed to know this. The knowledge, we give out and teach this knowledge for free, you know. But of course, to print books, you need, you know, you need machines, you need paper, you need ink, you need, you know, editors, you need people to put it together. And so there are expenses. So we need to be able to generate economically to be able to produce. But, you know, you spreading information, teaching classes, and other people, wherever you are, will help spread Wu-Sabat and will liberate people by breaking the spell. However, you have to break the spell for yourself first before, you know, and it starts with the mental, because once you're united mentally, you're automatically united physically. So it's about, like I was mentioning before, getting the right knowledge, the right wisdom, the right understanding, which leads you to sound right reasoning, so that you can reason properly. Then you get together and you work together in communities to build. I always felt like religion was questionable, as in the power was me, but when I did have spiritual encounters, yeah, because you didn't know any better, so you're going to call them what you know, but it is really you, it's your ancestors. A lot of people will say that, you know, this entity did it for me, but they don't recognize or realize their ancestors are alive and working and helping them from the other realms or the other planes of vibration. Okay, let me see. What other questions do we have that I haven't? Okay. Do you have scrolls that teach telekinesis, telepathy, clairvoyance, and development of the higher sense? Simple answer is yes. And there isn't a quick fix. You know, people sometimes just want to be given, as they say, the pearls, but they haven't done or don't want to do any work. You have to work on yourself, and the work is inward. It's a lot of you, and if you've done the work already, then there are different orders within our culture that actually teach you and take you further. Not everything is publicly available. That's why you had the mystery schools in ancient times, where people were initiated and taught, you know, the higher mysteries, you know. So come close. Can you clarify the issue of this month, February, or why it ends on 28 days and after 4 years it goes? Yeah, because of the time that we're using at the moment. It's not real time. It's fictitious. And remember when I mentioned that when the planet was changed in terms of its size and its orbit, they had to then give you time based on the circumference of the planet, which they say is 24,000 miles, but it's actually 24,896. So they had to devise, because of the rotation around the sun, and just to kind of give you this fictitious time, they basically made the clock based on the 24,000 miles circumference, and then divided it up into 2 parts. So 12 hours, what they call day, and 12 hours of what they call night. But most people just say there's 24 hours in the day. The day part is only 12 hours, you know, so it was just to realign everything. So the Gregorian calendar, then there are many calendars. Not everybody uses the same calendar. So when you're saying February, this is tying into the Greeks and the Romans and that, as I said, the Gregorian calendar. So yeah, they give you like, you know, the time changes where you add out, like you've added an hour, take out an hour, or the leap years and things like that. So that's why you have to know what is natural time and what time we should be on. So we have a different calendar.
So this isn't a call, but it's the telegram.
Okay.
So just the bottom bit.
All right, cool. Is this a question? Because it just says, it is paramount that we have our bodies cremated when we die for the sake of not having to remain connected to this earth longer than we have to. That's correct. If this is the case, why is it that the ancient Egyptians believed in enlightenment? I thought I was going to say embalming. Okay, embalming, yeah. Yeah, excellent question. Now, the cremation is better because, like you say, you're going to leave here, you're not leaving your body parts for people that are into cannibalism, for people that are into organ harvesting, and many, many things that they do now. So in ancient times, there was proper like rituals and ceremonies where we would channel the energy, you know, to go back where it's supposed to go. This is known as opening of the mouth ceremony, where the energy was directed and channeled towards like where they were from, like Orion, Sirius, etc. The embalming part was because they knew that in the future, right, we, the offspring, would need to know who was here first. So they left a lot of information. So like when these archaeologists, etc., are digging up the graves and doing carbon dating, taking DNA tests, it now proves without a shadow of a doubt who was here first. And now there aren't any arguments as to which race came first. So some things were done on purpose to preserve the DNA, because today the DNA and frequencies and energies all about exposing and giving out facts, so people can't dispute it. So it was partly done on purpose, but in that time you didn't have fear of all the things I'm talking about. There were proper rituals and ceremonies to guard the body and preserve the body in a way that no one will have access to it. But later on, as you can see, they started to desecrate and dig up, you know, our ancestors and dig up the pyramids, and because they're trying to find out information where they're from and so on. So it was partly done intentionally. Is it done?
If you want, there's a few in the telegram.
Okay.
This one is, and then you can go through them if you want.
Okay. Is it true there was African people who believed in the crow but worshipped the sun? In ancient, when we say Africa, Africa is it's a big place and has many different tribes and many different people. But when you look, for example, to give you a good analogy, when you look at ancient Egypt and you see like the heads of like Hara, he's got the bird head, and then you've got Tahuti, who's also got a beak. There are many pictures that show them with animal heads. That is not what they look like. Those are like masks, you know, like if you ever went to a carnival or something, you see people wearing masks. Those masks were depiction of the animal nature that they related to or something that they did. So the bird, which has the beak in terms of Tahuti, that's because the quill or the pen that he used to write, that beak on the bird kind of related to that. So yes, in terms of when you see animals, doesn't mean that that's the people or that they worship those animals, because the sun wasn't worshipped either. That's a misnomer. With being animist or with being people from the sun or people that know about nature, we recognize the power of the sun and we gave reverence to the sun by acknowledging that its presence meant that life will continue to exist on the planet, and the crops, the farmers, everyone to a certain degree worships the sun, if you want to use that word, because without the sun there won't be any life on this planet. Most of the life that's on the planet that relies on the sun will die. So it's not worshipping the sun, it's just acknowledging, as I said, as animists, as people that deal with natural nature. So that's that question. Okay, I've covered those. Is the name Ptah Kathor Aha in hieroglyphics or anywhere on the walls? On the walls, what, in Egypt? I'm not sure, but we can definitely look into that. The good thing about being live on OSM Vision and doing these lives is that we can always answer questions that we leave out this week or that we don't have an answer for, because we're students, we study, and we can go and research and find out. But I'm not sure, I haven't seen that information, but we'll definitely look into it and then maybe address it next week. Who or what are blue orbs? My brother had an experience with one. It followed him while walking home, then appeared in front of him. He had no bad feelings from it, then it vanished. Again, with some of these experiences, they're personal. I don't know your brother. I don't even know in terms of what race he's from, because we are taught about orbs, and there are many orbs that are around, and they're they're known as corrigenes, and they're different orbs that when the female Adamites or Caucasian are in their 6 months, some of these orbs, they basically re-enter the child being born and then come back out. But I mean, it's very vague. Some of this is covered in some of our scrolls, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you what his experience was, what the orb was, and I would only be just giving you bits and pieces. Yeah, I don't know what the orb was, but we do have information in our scrolls about orbs and what they are and how they come. If one of my mods can give you the links to any of the scrolls, that would help. Wow, so many questions. Let's see, what else is here? Okay, I just turned 20 years October the 8th, and I know a lot. And I know a lot studying OSM Vision, Terrence Howard, Billy Carson, and so much more. Okay, that's great. No question there. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Listen, this Wu-Sabat is something that we can literally study and study and study, because there's so much to our story. Okay, question. Is there a black sun, and what is the process of harnessing the energy if possible? Yeah, the sun is black. Even though you're given that picture of it being yellow, the people that were studying, trying to find out information, like the occult and people like Hitler, they spoke about the black sun. In fact, you can actually research this, but the sun itself is not, it's like I said, it's energy. And the blackness that surrounds stars, because suns are stars, and I've explained that these stars have energy that's burning, hydrogen and helium. But when you go beyond the suns, you end up in darkness. So there's a period of time known as the black sun. And when you look on the cover of our books, the actual facts on the back of them, you see a picture of that, what they refer to as the black sun. And when you look at the motion of what people call the motion of the sun, even though it's the planet moving around the sun and not the other way around, the motions of the suns were mapped. So from the horizon, Horus rising, or what people call the horizon, you have a position where they will say the sun is rising. Horus rising, horizon rising. And then it goes from that point, which is known as Atum in ancient Egypt. And then it moves to the middle where people will say it's at the center or the zenith, yeah? That's known as Atun. And then when they say the sun is going down, it goes to this position on the other side of the line of the horizon, known as Amun. But there's a period where the sun, they say it's gone down. And this section here where it's going down is hidden before it comes back to rise. This part here is called, or the depiction is the black sun, because you don't see it. Now that's just symbolic in terms of a day, you know, it rises, it goes to the middle, then it goes down, and it goes to the underworld, and then it comes back up. But when you start to look at that with time, as in not just one day, but when you're dealing with thousands of years, you're talking about the different sections, or if you did that, you'd have 4 sections, and each section is 6,000 years each, right? And this is referred to as the sun and moon cycles of 6,000 years each. 2 moon cycles, 2 sun cycles. And 1 full rotation would be 24,000 years. And then a new cycle starts again. And that's where we are now when we came to the year 2000, where a new world or a new cycle of what they call the equinox, 24,000 years. But remember when I was talking about the time, and I was saying that 24,000 years is rounding it up or rounding it down, because it's actually more than that, yeah? So one cycle is an equinox, 24,000 years. Another cycle, they would say it's an epoch, because they round it up from 48,000, which would be the 224, and then they will say an epoch, which is like 49, they round it up to 49,000 years. So that's another cycle of, let's say, 50,000 years, and then it carries on. But there are times when this new cycle is going to bring about an end of the previous cycle, and destruction and certain things take place because of the adjustment. So that relates to that question about the black sun as well. Harnessing the energy is really recognizing that you have a sun within yourself, and that sun ties into what people call your solar plexus and what people call the chakras, which are energy centers and vortexes of vibration that you can enhance and utilize to do many things by bringing them together, because you have to center yourself with that energy. So yeah, you have a black sun which is within you as well. See, again, like as a result, when we look at the sun from the surface of the earth, particularly when it's high in the sky. Oh, okay, someone's answered that already. Yep, that's correct. Yep, we've got websites. Our links are down in the chat. Yeah, I want to take time out to thank everyone that is sending questions. You know, you can still call in. Keep asking your questions, keep learning. Sometimes you may only get a part of the answer, and the next time you might ask the same question, you get a bit more. And depending on how you ask the question, you're going to get, you know, different answers. So, and you can speak to different people, ask them the same question, and you will get even more information. So it's all Wu-Sabat. It's always about continuing your study and learning. Ultimately, our goal right now is to do everything we can to help Pana Babyanun, Dr. Malachi Ziok, spread the information, help with any efforts to, you know, get him exonerated. Greetings, caller.
Hey, what's going on? Much respect. My name is Yaziel. I'm from the United States. And I had a question. I've been like kind of studying like all of the books. Well, I ain't gonna say all of them, but quite a few of them. The Holy Tablets, the Man from Planet Risk, and a few other ones. And in the Holy Tablets, it states that there's a vortex that opens every 10 years. And it gives you, and it lists the dates, 2013, and it lists it in that order. So my question is, and it gives you, and it talks about this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, go ahead.
Oh, okay. And it talks about the seven thunders at the very beginning of the Holy Tablet. So my question is, how does that operate between the seven thunders, and because it talks about that's when the Bureau and whatnot's supposed to pass through, and the Shams and whatnot, it sits outside of the asteroid belt because the Bureau is too big to come into our, I would say, atmosphere per se, so it releases Shams. So I would just want to know, like, the last recorded date in the Holy Tablets was 2013. It moves every 10 years, and the vortex opens every 10 years. And that would make it 2023, which would mean that the vortex is now open. So that was my question. Is that accurate to say?
It is absolutely accurate. But there is, if you read the Holy Tablets, it goes beyond 2023. And there is another one, and by 20, it goes to, because remember the cycle I just mentioned, the 6,000 year cycle, that goes on to 2030. So you got to, and you have 2043 as well in the Holy Tablet. So there is one final lift that is to come. So we those who are elevating and would like to be ready, because if you read the there is a scroll called the 9 that I mentioned earlier on, that gives you more information. But the thing is that the Holy Tablets itself has expired, meaning that there's new information known as the Hereafter Doctrine, which covers, as you say, the new information like Partarak, like actual facts, master secrets, and then you have information that is only divulged to people that are within certain orders. So when I say the Holy Tablet has expired, it doesn't mean you can't read it or that the information is still not valuable. Are you a part of a community? If you are, then, or if you're a part of any of the orders, if you're not, I'm saying you should try and you know, get close, and so you can get updated information. But you were accurate in terms of the 10-year cycle. That there are cycles within cycles. So you have a cycle that is running in 10 years, as in you know, 2000, 2010, 2020, etc. Because the 3 years that came by way of the Philadelphia experiment, you know, and that's what threw time off. So then you added those 3 years where you started from 1943. And that's because when they did that experiment, they didn't have the power or the computer power to be able to calculate the zero time reference of the people, because you needed that information to lock time accurately. So it got thrown off, and they had to wait 3 years to build a new, you know, the computers. So that's why you have that cycle, that from 1943 to 1953 to 63, 73, etc., etc. But there are other cycles within those cycles that, you know, we would need to, so that we would need to know the information. And this is why Wu-Sabat is here. And the more you study, and not just study, but being active and coming into the community and working from within, because, you know, there is information that is not publicly shared. And that's why we encourage people to study, make your way into the communities and make your way into connecting with the master teacher, because ultimately we will be free once he is free, and the world needs him, you know. So yeah, you were correct in terms of the vortex, but yeah, keep studying, reach out, get involved, and let's get Wu-Sabat spread into the world. Okay, so yeah, we still got some time left if you want to get those questions in. The whole point of, okay, let me go back to what's the best way, because we get this question all the time. What's the quickest way for me to catch up? There's so many books. I may not have access to these books. How can I get up to speed quickly? This is why we put the course together. And people like to read, and yes, the physical copy is also available, but you can start today. The online version is even more extensive. It's an ebook. It has quizzes, it has interaction. You can ask questions, you can watch videos. You can get such a much better experiences from the online course, which has exactly the same content as is in the book, but more. And I'm talking about Fast Track Your Spiritual Unconscious Journey. And in that, it guides you to the many scrolls by Parnabab Yanun, and, you know, guides you in terms of which ones to start off with, where to get them, or the links to the, you know, to the stores and to the books directly. So I would say, if you want to fast track your spiritual and conscious journey, that's the first thing you should do. And then from that, you'll be given, like I said, all the references and all the books to the scrolls that are available, so that it's managed and is structured in a way that, you know, it can help you speed up. Because we talk about this all the time. When a master teacher came, he was like, I'm going to take you on a long journey on a short path. And that sounded like a riddle, but he explained it when asked. And he was like, the long journey is all the information, all the books. There are more books, thousands of books that we have to read to train our brains, to get ourselves freed from the spell, to reprogram ourselves, including the subconscious mind, as I mentioned before. All of that is by design. When you're dealing with a master teacher, he is the master at teaching, and he knows best of how to take you from where you are to where you need to be. So he said the short path is the amount of time you have to absorb all this information, so you can be ready and prepared and be transformed into the supreme being you're supposed to be, and regain all your powers that were maimed from you, you see. So there is a process to this, and not everyone's going to take it as seriously as others, but, you know, it's ultimately your choice. All right, let's see. We've got more questions coming in. I appreciate the smallest things about life. I like going outside and watch the birds land in front of me. Just relax, as well as stray cats just chilling with my energy. You have to study. Absolutely, that's true. And being in nature is one of those ways that you need to connect with nature, because a lot of us are in concrete buildings. We're looking down all the time. We are, running around. You don't really take time to really connect with nature. And that's something that, is encouraged. So yes, that's true. Don't say things like that. You make me vibrate. Cool. Okay, what else do we have? Grand rising of our collective consciousness, 9 ether children of the sun. Free Dr. Malachi York. 100%, Marion Evans. This is what we got to do. They can't, the being, that energy, they cannot contain that being. A very good idea will be reading clubs or even reading as a group. These are the things we do in the communities. That's what we keep saying. We call them study groups. And when you become part of, close with, you can get together in your communities or wherever you are and study together. You'll be surprised how much you learn from each other. And that's what it is about. It is about us uniting. Is it possible for your siblings to be another kind of being? This is from CJ, from you, even if you have the same parents. Absolutely. Parents, as the word rent, you see, is to rent. You rent that vessel to come through. Although you have to be connected to that being via your bloodline in some way. However, remember, you can be possessed, you can have walk-ins, you can have many spirit beings, entities that you could be programmed differently, your subconscious mind. So the programming can make somebody behave and look completely different to their sibling. Remember, your family are people that you're familiar with, familiar spirits. So it's not necessarily, and you have distant relatives as well that come through, and some are agreeable, some are disagreeable. So depending on you as the being, how you center yourself, how you align yourself, and what you practice and put into action, you're going to be different to someone else. The vibrations that you resonate with, the music you listen to, the food you eat, the places you go, the people you hang around with, the exchange of bodily fluids that you've had, all of that has an effect on you. So that was from CJ. What is the Wu-Sabat view on the Moorish Science Temple? That's landlord Horton. We know about them. We study everyone and everything. And again, the Moorish Science Temple under Noble Jew Ali, again, if you really go back and do the research, that was, again, really going back to religion and to the Arabian or Arabs. So he taught a lot about the Moors and things like that. But ultimately, he's one of the people that taught information. But that's where, when you look at like the evolution from the Moorish Science Temple to the Nation of Islam to to what it is today, that kind of has its roots from the Moorish Science Temple. But because you had Noble Jew Ali, then you had Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They both were, teaching this Arabian, what we call Islam today. So we have to let go of religion and move forward. Do you believe in the theory that Cain is still alive and roaming the planet? And did the master teacher ever touch on this subject? This is from Splash Zoe. Honestly, when you say Cain and Abel and is Cain still alive? When you deal with genetics, these are people that had offspring, And yes, so the offsprings are still alive. This is why you still have a lot of disagreeable on the planet. And it's about the DNA and the genes and how those offsprings, like if you have children, they have children, they have children. So yeah, there's like even what people call the devil, they think is one person, but we know that it's dealing with offspring. That's why he said that, you know, the seed, the woman's seed will be against the serpent's seed. And when you say seed, you're dealing with zira or zar, which deals with like sperm. Yeah, again, we spoke about the semen. From the seeds, semen. So it's no theory when you look at it from epigenetics and you deal with genetics and you deal with DNA. Yeah, you still have offspring and people on the planet, both on God's side, or to use that term, and on the devil side, Cain and Abel, or all the people you can ever think about that actually did walk the planet and existed, they had offspring and children. And you get the whole lineage in the Bible from Adam all the way, you know, to the book of Revelations. Okay, let me see. We're really coming. Look at the time. 21:21. Those numbers. 21 is 9, so that was 9, and yep, 21:21. So we're coming to the end. Remember, tune in every week. I hope by next week some of you have you know, signed up for the online course and have studied it. Of course, you can ask questions even once we lock off. You can still ask your questions on the Telegram group. You can send us 3 questions recorded of yourself. Just video 3 questions using your phone. Upload them to WeTransfer or osmvision.wetransfer.com. And you know, we don't have to stop. This is what we're trying to do. We're giving you everything you need to keep studying, to keep learning, to keep evolving, to connect with us. You can read the books, you can do the online course, you can come on our courses, on our free Saturday classes from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday UK time. And you can join via Zoom, Clubhouse, from wherever you are. So really, no one has an excuse anymore. The truth has arrived. The truth is here. You have no excuse no more, because you can't say you didn't have the opportunity. So you have to study and learn. And then once you get to a point where, you know, you want to teach and share that information, even from reading just one book, you can help save somebody's life. It's really about, you know, helping humanity through what is going on in the world today. Why is Dr. York having a green light connecting him to a ship in the picture behind you? Question 2, since Planet Risk has 3 suns, does it mean the planet only used you to experience daytime and no night? That's an excellent question. The green light refers to that. The green light is the most powerful healing force. That's why if you see nature is green. You know, healthy things are green, and so the green light is a healing force. It's a high vibration, and the craft is showing that he came here from somewhere else. And as you've mentioned, Planet Risk. Planet Risk has the 3 suns like in a pyramid, and the orbit that Risk goes through, it's kind of like, if I can draw it like this. Yeah, so you're right, at certain points, the 3 suns will be pointing at a particular point, which will mean that it's very hot. I mean, there's a book called The Man from Planet Risk. There's a book called Risk and Illusion. But yeah, you know, there's more information on Dr. York coming from planet Risk. Does it mean the planet only used to experience daytime? Yeah, pretty much. That's a very good question, good observation, because the planet is constantly orbiting the three suns. So, yes, good question, good observation. Yeah, because obviously the night and day thing here on our planet, we're coming to the last few minutes. The night and day, the sun doesn't actually rise as we think, and it doesn't, it doesn't rise and then go down. It's an illusion in the sense that the sun is always in its position. It doesn't move like that. What happens is you have the moon, or the satellite that people refer to as the moon, which orbits the planet Earth, and then they orbit the sun together. So the shadow of the moon blocks the sun on one side when it's rotating. This is what people are calling night, but it's not night. It's just that it's a shadow state. Like if the sun is shining and you place an object there, it puts a shadow. And so really the correct term is the shadow hours, because the sun is always shining. It doesn't go down. It doesn't come up. And this is why you can travel from one part of the country across to the next part of the planet, and you will find that you can leave in the daytime and arrive at night, or leave at what they call night and in the shadow hours, because you actually literally can fly when you're on a plane from one, you see where the shadow is, and you cross over from the dark to the light, because it's just a shadow state. It's not really the sun going down or up. All right, so the sun is always shining. Right, let me see if I can get the last one or two questions in before we sign off. Do you think a time will come where the master teacher will be free to teach us again? This is all we're waiting for, because a lot of the information he still has to give us, he's still holding. And yes, that time will definitely come. And if we all focus, concentrate, chant, put our energy into making that a reality, and support and work together, the quicker that will happen, So yes, definitely, that time will definitely come. But it's also down to us. And actually, on that note, he's asked us for one thing, and that is love and unity. To love each other as we love him, and to be able to put away our differences and come together as a people. And then that love, that collective focus will spread and change, the planet, and change humanity, and get rid of these old ways that have been plaguing and keeping everyone back, because we are making that dimensional shift. Okay, let me see. Last question, right? The book Leviathan 666, is it written the devil was born in 1966? Where was he before that, and where is he now? And was that Zuen or Halal? So, when you say the devil, it sounds like one person, but the devil has children and offspring, and you're referring to someone known as Nana. Zuen, so Halal, so you had who people call Halal or Iblis. That's Zuen. There are many, many names for that. Zuen is just one of those terms, which kind of ties into Zion, which ties into the whole religious concept. But where is he now? He comes and goes. Nana, he was here in 2003, I think. Yeah, he has offspring, he has children, he has agents. So the devil can be anyone or anything. It's about your actions and what you do. So it's not just one person, even though, you know, that being is the one that has the offspring and children. That was from Colin Mohapi. And in the 1966, that's the children, the seeds of the devil, like they were born all around the world. You're talking about the 13 sons, etc. But we can go into that next week if you want, because we've run out of time. Because, yeah, we've come to the end and want to thank everyone. Subscribe to OSM Vision, share the links. The least you can do is share the links and share the videos and, you know, like the videos, because the more you help, the more we can actually continue to do this and spread Wu-Sabat. Join our Telegram groups, search your email for DS4S newsletter, and make sure that email is not gonna put those mails into spam. Yeah, come and visit. You know, if you're local, come. If you wanna have any one-to-ones, you know, yeah, feel free to do so. But yeah, we want to give thanks to everyone. That's funny. All right, people, we want to say wadu. Wadu means bye in our language. Until next week, peace and unity.